What is up, YouTube? Ncaa31 here. It's time. It is time for my Ncaa 12 335 stack breakdown series, part 1. Gave the offense its fair share of love. Now it's time to talk a little bit of defense. The 335 stack. I've been running this defense for a while now. It's the way that I settled in how to play defense. It may not fit your style. It may not be something that you like. But if it is, if you're interested in trying it, this series will be for you. This may be a bit of a rehash for guys who are familiar with the game or looking to add some wrinkles, or someone who's new to the game or doesn't really know too much about the ins and outs of college football. Maybe you'll find this helpful. A couple of things. I'm not going to show you any glitches, exploits, or nanos or shortcuts. Everything I talk about will be strictly X's and O's and how to best execute the scheme in a clean, glitch-free manner and within the bounds of sim gameplay as best as the game will allow us to do. It's not perfect. It's a video game, but you can execute the defense very well, and if you master the playbook and know the personnel, the team you're playing with, you can do a lot of things. First of all, what is the 3-3-5 stack? Very simple. It is 3 down linemen, defensive end. You have your nose, and your defensive end, and you have 3 linebackers stacked behind them, hence the name 3-3-5 stack. You have strong safety, corner, free safety, corner. Now, why do I play this defense as opposed to the other base nickel defense, the 4-2-5? It's just simple personnel preference. I like the flexibility this defense offers because of the extra linebacker. You can use a linebacker as an extra pass defender, a blitzer. In some formations, he'll be on the defensive line as a stand-up defensive end to give you a 4-2-5 look. The defense just offers you a lot of ways to scheme and bring confusing zone and man blitzes at your opponent at different angles, and it offers you the adaptability to combat schemes without really having to worry about changing personnel groups. There's a set here called the Okie, which gives you a 2-high safety look and is basically a 3-4, where this strong safety drops back off into a traditional alignment, and the other strong safety plays as a pass rushing outside linebacker. The defense was originally designed, it's been around for about a decade or so, and it's been designed to combat the spread no huddle offense, and that's really its strength. It's really the best used against those kind of offenses. Because again, in a no huddle situation, you don't have to run your 4-3 or 3-4 defense on and off the field and bring your nickel packages in. You always have 5 defensive backs on the field. An obvious weakness is because you have 2 safeties in the box as well as corners toward the line of scrimmage, you're a little light. So a power running game will be a bit of a challenge to stop. You kind of have to sell out at times to stop a good power running game. This defense is designed for 2nd and 8, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15. If you're facing a lot of 2nd and 5s and 3rd and 2s, you're going to have problems. As far as some basics, base coverage is going to be some form of cover 3, more often than not, because of the single high safety look. It's just more adaptable to that, and you have your strong safeties here to give you seam support, as well as your outside linebackers as well, depending on who you use as a pass rusher. Either your strong safeties or backers, or a combination of both, one or both, or even sometimes some defensive linemen will be able to drop back into hook zones. Your corners usually have their typical deep third responsibilities in zone coverage, and you'll also be playing a lot of cover one and cover two, and not cover two. Well, some cover two in red zone situations, and also in some sets cover two is viable. But you're mainly going to be playing cover three, cover one, and cover zero. And as a result, you need very versatile players that can do a wide variety of things. As far as what you need personnel-wise, along with the defensive line, in a perfect world, in real life, you would want gap cloggers, guys who can shield these three linebackers and protect your safeties. In a video game setting, I'm not really too concerned about physical mass. What I care about is that they have the highest base ratings possible to shoot gaps, shed blocks, and make plays. I typically want defensive linemen who have high strength ratings, above 80, good pursuit and play recognition ratings, and a good pass rush move, either a good power move or a good finesse move. Perfect world, I'd love to have both be above 80 if possible. But if not, at least one of the two pass rush moves, I would like to have, pretty high, because I want, these guys be able to shed blocks and cause disruption and open up lanes for my blitzing linebackers or my safeties. From my perspective, the most important guy on the field is this single high free safety. If you don't user this player, he must be a very good zone coverage defender and have high awareness. If you user him, you absolutely cannot allow anything behind you. You have to be deep as the deepest, wide as the widest at all times. Against trips, you want to cheat to the direction of the strength of the formation. Like, for example, if I see that let's say, for example, that this was a trips right formation, I would cheat towards that side of the formation, trips left, same. And typically what I try to do, I try to split the two inside receivers and react to who's going deepest. Linebackers. This guy right here, your weak side outside linebacker, I like him to be my best overall athlete. This guy ideally is your Von Miller, your best pass rusher, your speediest linebacker, your most versatile linebacker. He's the one who's going to be in the 3-3-5 split on the line of scrimmage to form that 4-2-5, and he's going to act as a pass rushing defensive end. So he has to be strong, he has to be stout, he has to have a good pass rush or finesse move, and he has to be fast and also be adept at zone coverage so he can drop into those hook zones as well. Middle linebacker, don't really need anything special here than the norm. I prefer a rangy player here, a guy who can occupy the middle, a guy who can run sideline to sideline, a guy who's quick. Strong side backer, same thing. I want him to be good at coverage because he's typically going to be lined up on the tight end side, so I want him to be good at hook zone coverage as well as man in some alignments, and also be able to blitz as well. Safeties. Your safeties must be studs. Your strong safeties have to be very, very good. No ifs, ands, or buts. Because in order for you to get the most out of this defense, they have to be able to do a wide variety of things. They have to be able to play deep third. They have to be able to play deep half. They have to be able to blitz. They have to be able to stop the run. They have to be able to cover man-to-man against tight ends and slot receivers. If they're lacking in that area, you're going to be limited as far as what type of plays you'll be able to call, and you're going to have to take more risks to cover up for the fact that they're not strong man defenders. Corners, again, your typical corner, nothing really out of the ordinary there. What I like to do when I'm playing online or offline Dynasty, I actually like to recruit safeties and convert them to corners because they're more physical on the jam, they're stronger, and they tend to have higher zone coverage ratings and tend to be better against the run. But for a ranked game or a lobby game, your typical zone coverage, man coverage corner, both above 85 if possible, will do the trick. And those are just ideals. Obviously, the type of team that you have will dictate what you can do. For example, Notre Dame's a little bit light at nose tackle and at right end, but they're good at left end, and they have two very good pass rushing outside linebackers. And of course, Manti Te'o's a stud. And they actually are very strong at zone coverage at the safety positions as well. When I do play a four-man defensive line, when I go base dime, everyone drops down. I have my best pass rushing linebackers in at defensive end. I have my defensive end formations of the defensive tackle. I have my best zone coverage linebacker on my roster at MLB, and I play a more Tampa 2 zone style when I go in a four-man defensive line set. That's just my personal preference. The way you play it is up to you. And if people give you crap about putting people out of position, go tell them to go to hell. Teams do that all the time. If the Green Bay Packers can put Charles Woodson at outside linebacker, you can put linebackers at defensive end and defensive end to defensive tackle. If they don't like it, tough. That's a brief overview of what the 3-3-5 stack is and the type of personnel you need to really, get it to work, optimally. Again, know your roster. If you don't have strong man coverage corners, you're going to have to mix in more zone. If you don't have strong press coverage corners, don't press them. Play off coverage. If you're a little bit light on the defensive line, you're going to have to run blitz more to get to protect them, and so forth and so on. Just use your good common sense. And that's basically just a short little introduction to the 3-3-5 stack defense. And I'm going to do a video for each set in the 3-3-5 stack playbook and go over some plays that I use pretty commonly for run stopping situations, man cover situations, and zone blitzes and zone plays that I like to run and base out of. And again, these are just going to be basic principles as far as how I like to run it in different situations. And if you want to run it, learn the basics and then add your own little twist and flavor to it and make it your own. So this is part one, just a brief overview, and part two I'll go over plays in the 3-3-5 stack set that I like to do. I'll do the same thing for 3-3-5 split, Okie, across, and bear, and also how I like to set up a Tampa 2 style out of the dime as well. Hope you enjoy, and I'll do more of these soon. Take care. Peace.